Often say here on the show, don't we, that it's often the people reading the news, presenting the news, that are desperate to become even more famous. Particularly now with the mainstream media, have you noticed exactly how it's never necessarily about the news that they're presenting, but how they can get headlines simply via digital media, magazines if people still buy them, and of course notoriety. Now, it happens over here all the time, particularly in the United Kingdom on their mainstream media breakfast TV show channels. Remember, of course, Good Morning Britain had a very capable presenter in Piers Morgan. Whether you like Mr. Morgan or not, he was able to bring in a huge audience. Oh yes, that's right. But then ITV decided that he wasn't woke enough, all thanks to the battle with Meghan Markle. They decided to go with her. Even though she's been proven to be a liar to the British courts, they simply stood by her. As you can imagine, very confusing. And then he was let go, whichever way you want to look at it. What is particularly fascinating, though, for us over here, and in particular these two people that I was lucky enough to meet last year during the Platinum Jubilee celebrations, is this. Two US TV anchors have been let go, resigned, moved on, whatever you want to call it. But now it looks like they're about to land an even bigger pay deal, all thanks to that, shall we say, notoriety? As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Nice to have your company. Hope you're all keeping well. That's right, we're talking about TJ Holmes and Amy Robach. And basically, you know, they were very popular presenters, allegedly, I have to say, on the little watched ABC News channel over in the United States. All news channels around the world are simply battling to get an audience now because we live in a digital world, don't we, where we don't all sit down at one point now. Do you remember the old days where we'd sit down at 5 or 6 o'clock, watch the 10 o'clock news? People pick up news 24/7, like you're doing now. You know, the bottom line is, of course, we don't necessarily have to be anywhere at any time to see what's going on in the world. Of course, you know, when there sort of a scandal happens on a news channel, they try to make it as big as possible because the people who are running the news channels, like, you know, the executives, believe that this will make people tune in to see the sizzler, as they call it. It happened also recently to an American news channel who have been, for some unknown reason, dropped from a carrier service, Newsmax. And even they've been able to now create some sort of controversy to make sure people at least tune in, albeit for a nanosecond. But you see, with TJ and Amy, it was disclosed allegedly that they were having a behind-the-scenes romantic interlude. I'm dressing this up. And then, of course, it was not, were they not? Now, the bosses over at ABC News in America let this drag on for some time, knowing, of course, that the tabloids over there, like the Globe, the Inquirer, Scandal, all of that sort of stuff, will run with it for as long as possible. And then, up until this week, the two were brought back in for meetings with executives for what they call some healthy debate talks, finalising, though, in them exiting the channel. But what's fascinating now is that both of these two individuals, who you'd never truly heard of before, as I say, I was lucky enough to meet them very briefly while they were covering the Platinum Jubilee over here in the United Kingdom last summer. Well, they've now decided that they're going to be looking at many options, including offers for book deals and offers to join rival channels. Now, whether you think this works or not, what you have to think is, did you truly know these two individuals until that scandal? No. But what you do find out after the scandal is people are more interested in you. And TJ and Amy realize that they could become a brand new double act for one channel at least, or in fact go their individual ways and rake in even more money. Naturally, there's going to be a big story about exactly why they were given the bullet or left or resigned, whichever version they want to put out, about leaving such a big organization like ABC News. But whichever way you look at it, the bottom line is there's only one winner. And in the end, it's not the viewer or the channel, but the so-called disgraced presenters. As ever, when I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean, 10 Downing Street, London.